Don't let anybody kid you. It's all personal. Every bit of business, every piece of shit every man has to eat, every day of his life is personal. They call it business, but it's personal as hell. You guessed it right. These lines are from Mario Puzo's iconic novel, The Godfather. I love the movie and I love the novel. In case you're wondering, what? Did I read the topic correctly? I thought it was on how to handle stress at work. Well, yes, you thought correctly. This video is on how to handle stress at work, and I'll share the connection with the dialogue in a minute. Hi, I'm Ruchi Singh from Ruchi Singh Talks. Master the mindset and become the master of your life. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and let's jump into it. A lot of people asked me, especially because of my more than a decade of HR experience, to make a video on how to handle stress at work. So here it is. Stress at work is such a prevalent issue that to do justice to it, I have broken it down into 3 points. In this video, I will share the top 3 characteristics of stress and why is it critical to understand it before we can move on to handling and managing stress. In my next video, I'll share top 7 reasons of stress at work and share tips and techniques to handle these specific situations. And in my third video, I'll share tips and techniques which help in handling overall stress, because no one in the world can give techniques which can prepare us for every single challenge which comes our way. That is why it is very important that we make ourselves mentally strong enough to handle any challenges in future. And also, I'll share a free gift in my third video. So what is stress? Stress is our inability to manage our body, mind and emotions. I will repeat. Stress is our inability to manage our body, mind and emotions. If we feel there is a situation which is not in our control, but it impacts us, we feel stressed. First thing I want to say, based on my own personal experience as a working woman, also as an HR professional with years of handling teams and other interactions with the employees, it is always personal in the mind of the person, and that is why it is stressful. That's the reason why I began with the Godfather quote. It is always personal. We only get stressed if we identify with the situation when we feel it impacts us. Take a moment and think about it. If you pick up the newspaper, it is filled with terrible news, terrible things happening all over the world. And if someone asked us what's happening, we say it's the same old news. 50 people killed in bombing in some part of the world, massive landslide somewhere. We do feel bad, but then it's just for a moment. But if there is an article, a negative article about our favorite team or movie star or political party, boy oh boy, what happens? We get angry. It's like, seriously? Does this journalist even know what he's talking about? I'm sure it's been planted by the rivals. You really can't trust the newspapers anymore. Why does this happen? Because we take it personally. Let's be honest, how many of us, unless we are like a CEO of a company, get really stressed about the bottom line of a company or the geopolitical uncertainty and its impact on the company? In fact, if you said something like, I'm having sleepless nights about the erosion of the market value of the company, chances are the other person will be thinking, cuckoo. He'll be like, dude, are you all right? Why don't you take a break and tell me all about it? So why don't we get stressed? Because these are also work issues. Because it doesn't really impact us personally. But if there is a colleague who's suddenly spending some time with the boss, more than usual, then we get stressed. We are filled with all sorts of insecurity. What's happening? What's she or he up to? And suddenly we find a lot of reasons why we never like that person. It's like, you know what? I always felt that Mr. X is a sneaky guy and the other teams teammates will also be like, yeah, you're right. In fact, I told you so, remember? We decide, even though we are not aware of it, but we decide which situation, which person, which factor will stress us. And being aware of it is critical in managing stress because these are our trigger points. I have personally seen a friend have a meltdown of sorts over a chip nail. Yes, a chip nail. And I've also seen, being an army officer's daughter, situations where the army personnel have calmly gone to situations where the threat to their life is real. Very, very real. Now, why am I spending so much time on this particular point? Because human beings are unpredictable. Sometimes even we do not know how will we respond to a given situations, right? So let's say even if I covered top 10 reasons of stress at work, there is no guarantee that in future we will face the same set of challenges, or other people who are stressing us right now will also behave in the same manner. So what do? We first understand the nature of stress. And I'll repeat the top 3 characteristics of stress, and I want you to see if you can spot one thing common in all these points. So here we go. Stress is our inability, perceived or real, to manage our body, mind and emotions. Second, we get stressed only when we personally identify with a situation, issue or a person. Third, we decide, even though we may not be aware of it, but we decide which situation, which person, which factor will stress us. What is stressful to one person may not be at all stressful for someone else. So could you spot the common factor? The common factor is we, you and I. We decide, even if it is unknowingly, that a particular situation is stressful. So stress is what we do to ourselves. It is not external. And it's a good thing, because that means we are not helpless. It gives us the power to decide, power to choose our response to a situation or a person. If there is one thing in our power, it is our control over ourselves. And I would have been worried if it was dependent on external factors or other people, because then it is beyond our control. Changing our own mindset is a massive task. So can you imagine if we had to change someone else's mindset? A situation can be difficult, tough, challenging, but we decide whether to turn that to stress or a massive learning opportunity. We can actually create massive changes in our mindset, which in turn impacts our responses. So the good news is that we have the power to decide what stresses us and what doesn't. So now the question is, how do we do that? We train our mind. We train our mind like a top sports person does. They do long, tough hours of practice persistently, day after day, month after month, year after year, so that when they're actually playing, it seems effortless and they can handle anything which comes their way. I start early, I stay late, day after day, year after year. It took me 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success. Not me, Lionel Messi. If you liked it, please subscribe and share. Stay connected for the next video on stress management at work, where I will share the top reasons of stress at work and also share tips and techniques to handle these specific situations. Thank you so much for giving me your precious time. Thank you.